Drick stared at the hologram, his mandibles twitching with frustration. The crystalline projection before him was no ordinary relic, it was Earth's entire Internet archive, preserved and transmitted across the void of space. His entire species had spent decades decoding the ancient warnings sent from this strange, distant world. The texts were cryptic, their meanings elusive, and their warnings dire. At least, that's what their scholars had believed. But now? Seriously? This has to be a prank, Drick muttered. The shimmering display of human artifacts shifted to yet another incomprehensible absurdity, a video of a bipedal cat wearing sunglasses, its limbs jerking to what humans classified as music. Beneath it scrolled an endless stream of human commentary. This slaps harder than my mom with a sandal. Cat vibing a World War III. No thoughts, just vibes. Drick blinked, his antennae quivering in disbelief. We've been decoding these transmissions for decades, ancient warnings about Earth's deadly culture of chaos and ingenuity. And this is what we find? A dancing cat? He turned to his assistant, Freg, who sat beside him with a bemused expression. Freg, the youngest linguistics officer aboard the Vraxan Explorer, had been tasked with analyzing humanity's digital relics. Freg was clutching his translation tablet like it was the only thing keeping him sane. To be fair, Commander, Freg said hesitantly, their civilization does appear to be built on a foundation of disorder. The memes are an encoded form of communication. A cultural shorthand, if you will. Drick's compound eyes narrowed. Cultural shorthand? For what? Madness? Before Freg could answer, the hologram shifted again, displaying an edited image of a human child crying over spilled milk. Above it, blocky text read, "When the simulation is too real." Below it, "Send help." Freg cleared his throat. If my analysis is correct, the humans possess an uncanny ability to convert even their suffering into humor. It's adaptive, in a way. A survival mechanism. A survival mechanism, Drick repeated, his voice dripping with sarcasm. And what do you suppose the purpose of the, what do they call it? Rickrolling is? The hologram obligingly played a snippet of yet another human artifact, a music video featuring a human male with red hair and a peculiar vocal cadence. Drick recoiled instinctively. Ah, Freg said, scrolling through his notes, that appears to be a weaponized form of deception. A bait-and-switch tactic designed to instill confusion and annoyance. Drick buried his face in his claws, groaning. They've weaponized annoyance? How do you wage war against a species that thrives on nonsense? Freg hesitated before replying. Perhaps that's the point, Commander. Earth's greatest strength isn't its chaos, it's its ability to embrace it. Their humor, their absurdity, it's not weakness. It's armor. Drick fell silent, staring at the ever-shifting hologram of humanity's digital history. From cat videos to incomprehensible memes, he realized the truth was far worse than they had imagined. The humans weren't just unpredictable. They were unstoppable. The Vraxan Explorer floated silently in orbit around the peculiar blue planet known as Earth. Its sleek, silver hull gleamed against the void, its design a testament to millennia of precision and logic. Inside, however, chaos reigned. Holographic panels lit the interior of the research vessel, displaying an endless stream of Earth's digital archives. Cats wearing monocles, humans making absurd facial expressions, and a strange yellow sponge-like creature danced across the screens. The memes seemed to mock the very concept of order. Drick Vel, the ship's lead anthropologist, stood at the central console with an air of dignified skepticism. His uniform was pristine, his posture rigid, and his mandibles twitched with irritation. He had spent years studying Earth's transmissions, preparing for this assignment. But nothing could have prepared him for this. This is insanity, Drick muttered, gesturing at a holographic projection of a human child crying over an empty plate with the caption, "When your pizza rolls are done but your soul is not." He turned to his junior researcher. "Quaz, how do you explain this?" Quaz, a wide-eyed alien with an almost unsettling enthusiasm for all things human, clutched his data tablet like a prized artifact. His antennae bobbed eagerly as he responded, "It's genius, sir. Earth's culture is brilliantly chaotic. Every image, every phrase, it's like a puzzle, a window into their collective psyche." He pointed at another meme, this one a pixelated frog sipping tea. "Look at this. But that's none of my business. It's a commentary on apathy and judgment." Drick groaned, running a clawed hand down his face. "It's gibberish, Quaz. All of it." At the helm of the ship, Zarna sat with her usual air of stoic detachment, her hands resting lightly on the controls. She rarely spoke unless necessary, but a subtle twitch of her lip betrayed her amusement as she glanced at the nearest hologram. It displayed a looping video of a man slipping on ice, set to a cacophony of human laughter. "Zarna," Drick barked, his tone sharp, "you're the pilot. Focus on your station, not the nonsense." "Yes, Commander," Zarna replied, her voice calm. But as soon as he turned away, her stoic facade cracked just enough for her to mutter, "They call it slapstick. It's oddly satisfying." From the corner of the room, the ship's AI translator, HUG, chimed in with its usual sarcastic tone. Its glowing orb flickered as it spoke. "Commander, I must protest your dismissal of Earth's digital artifacts," HUG said. "Based on my analysis, these memes exhibit remarkable adaptability and linguistic complexity. Unlike your scientific reports, they're actually entertaining." Drick glared at the orb. "HUG, your job is to translate, not to editorialize." "My apologies," HUG replied, its voice dripping with artificial smugness. "I'll be sure to limit my commentary to boring anthropological jargon next time." Drick threw up his hands. "How did I get stuck with this crew?" The room fell quiet as another meme flickered onto the main panel, a dog staring into the distance with the caption, "This is fine." Flames surrounded the dog, a stark contrast to its placid expression. Quaz leaned forward, his excitement palpable. "Commander. This is the perfect representation of Earth's philosophy. Chaos is their environment, but instead of resisting it, they embrace it." Drick sighed, staring at the dog in flames. For a fleeting moment, he wondered if he'd underestimated the humans. Perhaps there was a method to their madness. Or perhaps, as the meme suggested, this was fine. The room was filled with the soft hum of the ship's systems, punctuated by the endless flicker of holographic memes. Drick Vell, the ever-serious anthropologist, paced in front of the main console, his claws clicking against the metallic floor. The task was simple in theory: determine if humans were intelligent enough to join the Galactic Council. In practice, it was nothing short of a nightmare. Quaz was hunched over his terminal, scrolling feverishly through the seemingly infinite archive of Earth's digital culture. His antennae twitched with excitement as he paused on yet another baffling image. "Drick, look at this!" Quaz exclaimed, pointing at the hologram. "They've got a meme about interstellar diplomacy. And it's a frog riding a unicycle?" Drick glanced at the image with a mix of disbelief and irritation. Sure enough, there it was, a poorly rendered amphibian balanced precariously on a single wheel, accompanied by the caption, "Oh Lord, they come in dot." What does that even mean? Drick groaned, pinching the bridge of his nose in exasperation. "At this rate, we'll never figure out if they're geniuses or just insane." "It's brilliant," Quaz said with an almost reverent tone. "The frog symbolizes the delicate balance of intergalactic relations, and the unicycle represents the precarious nature of peace in a chaotic universe. It's poetic." "It's nonsense," Drick snapped. "And it gets worse with every passing moment." Zarna, sitting at the helm, let out a rare chuckle. She turned her chair slightly to face the others. Maybe the council sent us here as a joke. Like, let's see how long it takes the Vraxans to lose their minds. Drick shot her a glare. We're a scientific delegation, not the punchline of some intergalactic prank. HUG, the ship's AI translator, chimed in, its orb flickering as it spoke. Correction, you are the punchline, Commander. Based on my analysis, the humans have developed humor as a defense mechanism against existential dread. If you wish to understand them, you might start by embracing their absurdity. Drick threw up his hands. Absurdity is not a scientific principle. Neither is denial, HUG quipped, earning a snort of laughter from Zarna. Quaz, oblivious to the tension in the room, continued scrolling. He suddenly gasped, his eyes widening. Commander! You have to see this. Drick sighed, dragging himself over to Quaz's console. The hologram displayed an image of a human in a spacesuit, holding a sign that read, "Aliens, if you're reading this, send memes." Beneath it, thousands of comments flooded the screen, ranging from earnest requests for interstellar communication to debates over whether pineapple belonged on pizza. See? Quaz said, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. They're practically begging us to understand them. They're begging for memes, Drick said flatly. How does that prove their intelligence? Zarna chimed in, her tone unusually light. Maybe intelligence isn't the point. Maybe it's their resilience, their creativity. I mean, they've turned their existential crises into this. She gestured toward the holographic panels, where a looped video of a man yelling, "Emotional damage," played repeatedly. Drick paused, his mandibles clicking thoughtfully. For all the chaos, all the absurdity, there was something undeniably human about it. They weren't like any species the Council had encountered before. Perhaps that was the point. They're impossible to categorize, Drick admitted reluctantly. But maybe that's their strength. Quaz grinned, his enthusiasm undeterred. So, does that mean we're staying? There's still so much to decode. I haven't even gotten to the Doge archives yet. Drick groaned again, but this time, there was a hint of resignation in his voice. Fine. But if I see one more frog meme, I'm contacting the Council myself to declare them unfit. The room burst into quiet laughter, even from Zarna. The humans were chaotic, ridiculous, and unpredictable. But one thing was certain, they were anything but boring. The holographic briefing room aboard the Vraxan Explorer buzzed with quiet urgency as Drick Vel addressed his crew. The holograms around them displayed tactical charts, Earth's continents, and the digital chaos that was humanity's internet. Despite the sleek sophistication of their vessel, it seemed woefully inadequate to deal with the unpredictability of Earth. Our mission is simple, Drick began, his voice commanding. We are to make formal contact with the humans and evaluate their suitability for membership in the Galactic Council. This means assessing their intelligence, culture, and capacity for diplomacy. Not getting distracted by cat videos. His eyes briefly flicked toward Quaz, who quickly hid his data tablet behind his back. But Commander, Quaz interjected, stepping forward with his characteristic enthusiasm, their digital archives are their culture. We can't ignore how they communicate, even if it's unconventional. Drick sighed, gesturing toward a hologram that displayed Earth's chaotic internet in real time. It was a swirling mass of memes, videos, and conspiracy theories, updating faster than even their advanced systems could process. I agree that studying their culture is important, Drick said, his mandibles twitching in frustration. But our mission requires focus. We need to land discreetly, gather intelligence, and... Before he could finish, HUG, the ship's snarky AI, interrupted with a sarcastic tone. Oh, I wouldn't worry about being discreet, Commander. You've already gone viral. What? Drick's voice sharpened. Explain. HUG projected a new hologram into the center of the room. It was a live stream from Earth's internet, showing a blurry image of the Vraxan Explorer in orbit. The caption read, "Breaking, UFO spotted. Are aliens here to invade or to join the next season of Dancing with the Stars?" Impossible. Drick snapped. We activated our cloaking shields before entering orbit. Clearly not effective against the ingenuity of humans with telescopes and too much free time, HUG replied smugly. They've already created dozens of theories about your presence. My personal favorite? Aliens are here to teach us how to Dougie. Quaz leaned closer to the hologram, his antennae twitching with excitement. Look at this, he exclaimed, pointing to a comment thread. Some humans think we're here for diplomacy, but others think we're here for a dance-off? And, oh no, someone started a poll. Drick's claws curled into fists as he tried to process the absurdity. A poll? About what? The hologram shifted to reveal the results. Invasion, 32%. Dance-off, 45%. They just want our memes, 23%. Zarna, the ship's stoic pilot, let out a rare laugh. Humans have already decided we're either a threat or entertainment. Maybe we should just skip the evaluation and broadcast a cat video ourselves. This is a diplomatic disaster. Drick barked. We've been studying them for decades, and now they think we're here to dance? It's not all bad, Commander, Quaz said, trying to sound optimistic. Look. Some humans are excited about our arrival. They're sharing welcome messages and even organizing parties. It's oddly heartwarming. Drick buried his face in his claws. Heartwarming? This is chaos. Chaos is kind of their thing, Zarna remarked dryly, her eyes still on the holograms. Maybe the council sent us here because they knew we'd never be able to figure them out. HUG chimed in again. If I may suggest, Commander, perhaps the best way to evaluate them is to meet them on their terms. Engage with their culture. Participate in the memes, the polls, the, dare I say, dance-offs. Absolutely not. Drick snapped, but the unease in his tone betrayed his uncertainty. Quaz, his eyes sparkling with excitement, grinned. Actually, that's not a bad idea. If we want to understand humans, we have to think like them. We've studied their chaos from a distance, but maybe it's time to experience it firsthand. Drick hesitated, glancing at the ever-updating holograms. Despite the absurdity, Quaz had a point. The humans weren't just a puzzle to solve, they were a force to be reckoned with. Fine, he said reluctantly. We'll land. But no dance-offs. Zarna smirked. No promises. As the ship's engines hummed to life, the holograms flickered, showing new memes speculating on the aliens' next move. Earth's internet had already embraced them as part of its chaos. Whether they were ready for humanity, or if humanity was ready for them, remained to be seen. The research lab aboard the Vraxan Explorer was a chaotic symphony of holographic projections, displaying everything from Earth's political debates to looping videos of cats knocking over objects. Drick Vel stood at the center of the madness, his claws clenched in frustration as he tried, and failed, to maintain control over his team. Quaz, stop staring at that. Drick barked, pointing at a hologram of a frog riding a skateboard. We have actual work to do. Quaz, seated cross-legged on a floating chair, barely looked up. This is work, Commander. Earth's culture thrives on these memes. They're like windows into the human soul. He paused, tilting his head. Or, maybe just their sense of humor. Humor? Drick snapped. A frog on wheels? That's what they consider humor? HUG's orb flickered to life, its voice dripping with artificial sarcasm. Correction, Commander. Earth's humor is a complex tapestry of absurdity and chaos. Based on my analysis, 93% of their population spends their time sharing cat videos. Truly advanced creatures. Zarna, leaning casually against the wall, smirked. At least they're consistent. Drick glared at her. You're the pilot, Zarna. Shouldn't you be preparing for our descent to the surface? Zarna shrugged. The ship's on autopilot. Besides, this is educational. Her gaze lingered on a looping video of a raccoon attempting to steal a watermelon, only to trip and roll into a pond. She stifled a chuckle. Drick's mandibles twitched. Educational? What exactly are you learning from a raccoon making a fool of itself? That humans enjoy rooting for the underdog, Zarna replied smoothly. Or, under raccoon, I guess. Quaz grinned, clearly emboldened by Zarna's comment. See, Commander? Even Zarna gets it. Humans find joy in the little things. Their memes are like cultural artifacts, snapshots of how they cope with their chaotic existence. Snapshots of madness, Drick muttered under his breath. HUG chimed in again, its tone even more smug. Ah, but Commander, isn't that why the Council sent you here? To understand their chaos? Perhaps the memes are the key to unlocking their intelligence. Or lack thereof. Drick groaned. HUG, do you ever stop talking? Only when I'm ignored. Which, frankly, happens far too often for an AI of my brilliance. Zarna smirked. Maybe if you didn't sound so smug all the time. I'm not smug, HUG replied with exaggerated indignation. I'm efficiently sarcastic. As the holograms continued to flicker with Earth's digital nonsense, Drick threw up his claws in defeat. Fine. If studying this chaos helps us complete our mission, then so be it. But I refuse to dignify any of it with analysis. Quaz, you're in charge of the memes. Zarna, prepare for landing. And H.U.G, just stay out of my way. Oh, I wouldn't dream of interfering, Commander, HUG replied, its voice practically dripping with amusement. After all, you seem to be handling the chaos so well on your own. Zarna let out a soft laugh as she turned to the controls. Quaz, meanwhile, eagerly resumed scrolling through the endless stream of memes, pausing only to share the most ridiculous ones with the crew. As the ship descended toward Earth, Drick silently wondered how he had ended up here, orbiting a planet where frogs on skateboards and dancing cats held the answers to intergalactic diplomacy. This is going to be a disaster, he muttered. Quaz didn't even look up. Or, it could be the best thing that's ever happened to us. HUG chimed in one last time. Or, more likely, both. The Vraxan Explorer was a hub of activity as the alien crew dove deeper into Earth's internet. Holographic displays surrounded them, showcasing viral videos, comment threads, and countless memes that seemed to defy logic. For every piece of information that provided insight into human culture, there were 10 more that left the crew baffled. Drick stood at the center of the chaos, arms crossed as he observed the stream of Earth's internet history. His claws clicked impatiently against the console. Quaz, what is this nonsense? Why are they dumping ice water on themselves? Quaz, practically glowing with excitement, tapped on his data tablet. It's called the Ice Bucket Challenge, Commander. Humans used it to raise awareness for a disease. It's kind of brilliant. They combined self-inflicted discomfort with a social cause. It's like a ritual of solidarity. Drick stared at the hologram of a shivering human drenched in ice water. A ritual? This looks more like a punishment. HUG interjected, its orb flickering smugly. Ah, but it worked, Commander. Billions of their currency were raised for research. Sometimes their chaos has purpose. Emphasis on sometimes. Drick pinched the bridge of his nose. Fine. I'll admit that one has some merit. But what about this? He gestured toward another display, where a video looped of a cat swatting a cucumber and leaping into the air in terror. Are these creatures their rulers? They're everywhere in the data stream. Quaz giggled. Cats are like their unofficial mascots. Humans adore them for their independence, their aloofness, and their occasional moments of stupidity. They even worshipped them in ancient times. Worship? Drick asked incredulously. Zarna, who had been silently observing, chimed in with a smirk. To be fair, Commander, cats do have a regal air about them. And humans seem happy to serve them. Maybe we're looking at the wrong species for council membership. HUG added, considering how much time humans spend recording and sharing videos of cats, one could argue that felines are indeed Earth's dominant life form. Drick groaned. You're all hopeless. The holograms shifted to a compilation of Earth's fan theories about aliens. Some showed dramatic recreations of spacecraft hovering over landmarks, others involved grainy photos of supposed extraterrestrial encounters. Now this, Drick said, jabbing a claw toward the screen, is absurd. They think we've been secretly visiting them for centuries. Look at this one. He highlighted a theory about aliens building pyramids. Do they really think we've been aiding their architecture? Zarna smirked. I mean, we could take credit. Those pyramids are impressive. Quaz, scrolling through a thread of comments, gasped. Commander, you have to see this. Some humans think we're here to invade, while others think we're here to teach them how to make better pizza. Pizza? Drick asked, confused. It's a popular human dish, Quaz explained, showing a hologram of a perfectly baked pizza. Apparently, they think aliens might have mastered it. HUG chimed in again, sounding particularly amused. One might argue that their obsession with pizza is evidence of their advanced priorities. Forget survival, they're focused on perfecting melted cheese and tomato sauce. Drick groaned again, turning away from the holograms. This is ridiculous. How are we supposed to evaluate their intelligence when they spend half their time chasing food trends and the other half making conspiracy theories? Maybe their unpredictability is their intelligence, Quaz offered, looking thoughtful. Humans adapt to chaos. They thrive in it. That's something no other species does quite like them. Or, HUG quipped, they're just very good at distracting themselves from their problems with nonsense. Drick rubbed his temples. We need to find something concrete. Something that proves they're more than just this. Quaz smiled, his optimism unshaken. Don't worry, Commander. The more we explore, the more we'll understand them. We just need to keep looking. Zarna leaned back in her chair, her lips twitching into a faint grin. If nothing else, at least we'll leave with some good stories. As another meme flickered onto the screen, this one of a dog in a spacesuit with the caption, "When aliens visit, but you just want a vibe," Drick couldn't help but wonder if their mission was doomed from the start. Good stories, he muttered. That's one way to put it. The decision to contact humanity had not been made lightly. Drick Vel had spent hours pacing the bridge of the Vraxan Explorer, debating every possible outcome. In the end, he'd reluctantly agreed to HUG's suggestion, a global holographic message broadcasted directly to every screen on Earth. The crew gathered around the central console as HUG finalized the transmission settings. This will link to every major communication network on the planet, the AI explained. Television, smartphones, even those bizarre refrigerators that display weather updates. Humans won't be able to ignore us. Drick straightened his posture and took a deep breath. Good. Let's approach this with dignity and authority. We are representatives of the Galactic Council, not performers in their absurd entertainment culture. The holographic projector activated, and a shimmering image of Drick appeared on countless screens across Earth. Behind him stood Zarna and Quaz, with HUG's glowing orb hovering in the background. Drick began his speech, his tone solemn and deliberate. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are emissaries from the Galactic Council, here to evaluate your readiness for interstellar diplomacy and inclusion in a greater cosmic community." As he spoke, Quaz monitored the live feedback streaming in from Earth's internet. His antennae twitched with growing concern. Commander," Quaz whispered, "you might want to see this." Drick glanced at the smaller holographic display, where a flood of comments, hashtags, and memes was overtaking their broadcast. "OMG aliens. Drop your skincare routine. Hashtag welcome aliens, let's go. Are y'all single though? Someone get them a Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supreme. What is this madness?" Drick hissed. HUG interjected, its tone smug as ever. "Congratulations, Commander. You've gone viral. A highly sought-after status among humans. Apparently, they love you." Drick's mandibles clicked in irritation. "This is not love. This is chaos." Quaz, however, was beaming. "This is amazing. They're engaging with us, Commander. Look, someone just started a hashtag war. Hashtag MemeWar 2025 is trending." On the larger hologram, the aliens broadcast was now split-screened with user-generated content. Humans had taken the message and run wild with it, creating videos, TikToks, and memes in real time. One video showed a man dressed as an alien doing a ridiculous dance to a techno remix of Drick's speech. Another showed someone photoshopping Zarna's stoic face onto a popular movie poster. Drick pointed to the screen, his voice rising in disbelief. "Why is their supposed leader wearing a hot dog costume?" Quaz squinted at the video and chuckled. "That's not their leader. That's someone going viral. Humans seem to respect that." Zarna, who had been silent until now, finally spoke up, her tone laced with dry amusement. "Honestly, this might be the best-case scenario. At least they're not panicking or trying to shoot us down." Drick turned to her, exasperated. "You call this a good scenario? They're treating this momentous occasion like a joke." Quaz held up his data tablet, grinning. "Actually, some of these jokes are pretty clever. Look, this one compares your speech to an intergalactic TED Talk." Drick stared at the tablet, his frustration giving way to reluctant curiosity. The meme showed a picture of him mid-speech, overlaid with the text, "When you're trying to unite galaxies but Earth just wants to know if you've tried pineapple on pizza." Despite himself, Drick's mandibles twitched in what might have been the start of a smile. "I don't even know what to say to that." HUG chimed in, sounding far too pleased with itself. "Say nothing, Commander. Simply embrace the chaos. Humanity has already welcomed you into their culture, in their own bizarre way." Quaz's eyes lit up. "Commander, we should reply to them. Engage with their humor. If we want to understand humans, we need to meet them where they are." Drick hesitated, his instincts as a diplomat warring with the sheer absurdity of the situation. Finally, he sighed. "Fine. But no hot dog costumes." Quaz practically leapt to the console, typing furiously as he prepared a response. Moments later, the alien's hologram broadcast was updated with a simple message. "We see your memes, Earth. Prepare yourselves for interstellar meme warfare." The internet erupted. Zarna smirked as the chaos unfolded. "Well, Commander, if nothing else, we've proven one thing." "What's that?" Drick asked warily. "That humans might not be ready for interstellar diplomacy." She gestured at the flood of memes overtaking the screens. "But they're definitely ready for us." Drick groaned, but a small, grudging smile crept onto his face. Maybe, just maybe, chaos wasn't such a bad thing after all. The ship hovered silently over Earth's largest stadium, its sleek silver surface glinting under the floodlights that illuminated the gathering below. On the ground, tens of thousands of humans cheered, their voices a deafening roar of excitement. The event was a spectacle unlike anything the crew had anticipated. Costumed humans dressed as aliens, neon banners welcoming the intergalactic visitors, and food trucks with glowing menus displaying alien-themed dishes like Drick's Galactic Fries and Zarna Zingers. Inside the Vraxan Explorer, Drick paced anxiously, his claws clicking against the metal floor. This is a disaster. They've gathered en masse. This is clearly an ambush. He gestured frantically at the holographic feed of the crowd. Look at them. They're cheering as if we're some sort of entertainment act. And why is that one dressed like a green squid? Quaz, seated at the console and wearing a massive grin, waved him off. Relax, Commander. It's not an ambush, it's a party. Humans do this when they're excited. Look. He pointed at the hologram of a food truck. They've even named their burgers after us. The Zarna Zinger sounds delicious. Zarna, leaning casually against the wall with her arms crossed, raised an eyebrow. I don't know whether to be flattered or insulted. Drick groaned. How can you all be so calm? They've turned a first contact mission into, whatever this is. HUG's orb flickered to life, its tone smug as usual. Correction, Commander, they've turned it into an intergalactic marketing opportunity. Humanity's ingenuity knows no bounds when it comes to monetizing the absurd. Drick glared at the AI. This is no time for jokes, HUG. If this goes wrong, the Council will hold me responsible. Quaz spun around in his chair, his eyes gleaming with excitement. But it's not going to go wrong, Commander. Look at them, they're not scared. They're thrilled. This is exactly what we've been trying to figure out. Humans thrive on chaos, but they use it to connect, to celebrate. This party? It's their way of saying, welcome to Earth. Drick stared at the holographic projection, his mandibles twitching nervously. The humans weren't armed. No military vehicles, no defensive lines, just a sea of glowing wristbands, waving banners, and music that reverberated through the stadium. On stage, a band was performing a rock ballad titled Aliens Are Just Like Us. Zarna smirked. Honestly, Commander, they're handling this better than I thought they would. No riots, no panic. Just, food trucks and bad music. Drick sighed, rubbing his temples. Fine. We'll go down there. But we stick to protocol, diplomatic, formal, and absolutely no eating anything called a zinger. Quaz grinned. Got it, Commander. Diplomatic and formal. Right after we join the conga line. Drick shot him a withering glare. Moments later, the ship's sleek ramp extended, and the trio stepped onto the stadium stage. The cheering reached a deafening crescendo as holographic lights danced across the crowd. Humans waved signs like, "We heartsuit aliens," and "Take us with you." Drick cleared his throat and began his speech. People of Earth, we come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Council to evaluate your readiness for interstellar diplomacy. Before he could continue, the crowd erupted into applause and chants of speech. Speech! Someone in the back shouted, "Do the alien dance?" Drick froze, bewildered. What dance? Quaz leaned over and whispered, "It's a meme, Commander. I'll show you later." Despite the chaos, the humans' excitement was infectious. Even Drick couldn't help but feel a flicker of pride when he spotted a child holding a stuffed alien toy that looked remarkably like him. As the event went on, the crew mingled with the humans. Well, Quaz mingled while Drick grumbled and Zarna watched with quiet amusement. By the end of the night, the Vraxan Explorer departed with not just data for the Council, but also a sense of the chaotic, baffling, and utterly unique spirit of humanity. Back aboard the ship, Drick collapsed into his chair, exhausted but oddly satisfied. "Well," he muttered, "if nothing else, we've proven one thing about humans." "What's that?" Zarna asked, leaning against the console. "They're impossible to predict." Quaz grinned. "And that's exactly why they belong in the galaxy." HUG flickered to life. "Commander, I must admit. I've analyzed their behavior, and I believe I've found humanity's motto." Drick raised an eyebrow. "Oh? And what is it?" HUG's voice was smug as ever. "When in doubt, throw a party." The crew burst into laughter as the ship disappeared into the stars, leaving Earth's brightest and strangest welcome party behind. The air was thick with excitement as the Vraxan Explorer hovered above the stadium, its sleek surface casting a cool shadow over the ecstatic crowd below. Drick, Quaz, and Zarna stood at the center of the stage, ready to make their official address. Humans cheered and waved signs with slogans like, "Intergalactic Peace Now," and "Aliens are our friends." They were clearly thrilled, perhaps a little too thrilled, but Drick was determined to keep things formal. "Let's do this by the book," Drick muttered under his breath, adjusting his uniform. "We'll start with a diplomatic greeting, then discuss the purpose of our mission. No dancing. No chaos." Quaz, bouncing on his heels, barely contained his excitement. "You know, Commander, I think they're really excited to hear from us. They love formal events." Zarna stood with arms crossed, a smirk tugging at her lips. "Sure. If by formal, you mean throwing hot dog costume-wearing humans into the mix." Drick glared at her, but before he could retort, the holographic translator flickered to life. The aliens' voices, amplified by the ship's speakers, boomed across the stadium as the crowd fell into a hush. "We come in peace," Drick began, stepping forward with authority. "As representatives of the Galactic Council, we seek to understand the potential of your species for interstellar diplomacy. We..." Suddenly, the holographic translator, which was responsible for interpreting their speech, sputtered and buzzed. Drick froze, watching in horror as the translator's glitchy screen displayed a series of jumbled symbols. The device stuttered before translating, "We come in peace, and challenge you to dance battle?" The words hung in the air like a bad joke. Drick's eyes widened. "No, no, no. That's not what I said." He quickly tried to recalibrate the device, but it was too late. The crowd, already on the edge of their seats, erupted into a frenzied cheer. "Dance battle! Dance battle!" they chanted in unison, pumping their fists into the air. Quaz's eyes sparkled with delight. "This is amazing. They've taken it seriously." Zarna sighed and shook her head, but the tiniest smile tugged at the corner of her lips. "Well, at least they're not shooting at us. I suppose it's a win." Drick was having none of it. "This is an absolute disaster. I didn't sign up for this." He shot a glare at the malfunctioning translator, which now projected a glittery animation of two cartoon aliens dancing. The humans, however, were undeterred. A man wearing a space-themed jumpsuit jumped up onto the stage, holding out a microphone. "Let's do this, alien friends. Show us what you've got." Drick, stunned into silence, looked to Quaz and Zarna for guidance. They both stared at him, clearly waiting for his decision. "Fine," Drick muttered, defeated. "But I'll never hear the end of this." With no way to back out, the alien crew reluctantly joined in. The first few seconds were pure chaos. Humans in brightly colored costumes, many of them with alien-inspired designs, began to move energetically to a fast-paced electronic beat. Some were surprisingly skilled, while others simply flailed about, doing what could only be described as interpretive dance. Drick, stiff as a board and unaccustomed to such frivolity, tried his best to mimic the strange human movements. His claws were not made for this. He tried to keep a dignified posture, but every time he attempted to raise his foot in a step-touch fashion, he ended up looking more like a malfunctioning robot than an intergalactic diplomat. Quaz, on the other hand, was in his element. He twirled, spun, and even attempted a poorly executed moonwalk, causing the crowd to erupt in applause. "See, Commander? It's all about the rhythm." Zarna, always the calm one, found a comfortable balance between participating and observing. With a smirk, she added a few smooth hip-hop moves, effortlessly blending into the crowd while keeping an eye on Drick. Drick, meanwhile, had finally resorted to a series of awkward, stiff arm movements, hoping it looked like something dignified. A group of humans cheered him on with encouraging chants of, "You've got this, alien." His frustration built. "This is not what I signed up for," he muttered under his breath, trying to figure out how to disengage without causing an international incident. As the dance battle raged on, the humans' enthusiasm only grew. The stage had turned into a mix of intergalactic cosplay, flashing lights, and far too much glitter. One particularly bold human dressed as a neon green alien with a tutu invited Drick to a freestyle showdown. "This is a trap," Drick hissed. "I'm being humiliated in front of an entire species." Quaz, breathless from laughter, approached. "You're not humiliated, Commander. You're charmingly awkward." The human in the tutu raised an eyebrow. "Come on, alien man, show us what you've got." In a final, exasperated move, Drick threw up his hands. "Fine. I'll dance. But you will regret this." As he let his instincts take over, something strange happened. His movements, though rigid and unnatural, caught the rhythm of the crowd. Slowly but surely, he found himself bobbing his head in time to the music. One of his legs lifted awkwardly in a quick step that surprisingly matched the beat. And then, the unthinkable, Drick's feet shifted into something that resembled a very awkward moonwalk. The crowd went wild. "Yes! He's got it," a human yelled. "Intergalactic champion." Quaz's voice echoed in his ear, full of pride. "I knew you had it in you, Commander." By the time the music came to an end, the humans were chanting Drick's name. "Drick! Drick! Drick!" Drick, panting and dripping with sweat, stood frozen in place. He could only shake his head, both humiliated and oddly victorious. "Well," Quaz said with a grin, "looks like we've officially been accepted into Earth's culture." Drick groaned. "If they start calling me the Intergalactic Dance King, I'll never live this down." Zarna, who had been watching with amusement, nodded. "At least they didn't challenge us to a pizza-eating contest." Drick shuddered. "Don't give them any ideas." The final notes of the chaotic dance battle echoed through the stadium as the crowd erupted into cheers. Drick, Quaz, and Zarna stood panting in the center of the stage, covered in glitter, sweat, and the unmistakable scent of Earth's strange, sticky beverages. The humans, unable to contain their excitement, began tossing colorful t-shirts and selfie sticks toward the alien crew. "Welcome to Earth," one human shouted, slapping a t-shirt with an alien logo onto Drick's chest. Another handed Zarna a neon pink selfie stick, which she reluctantly accepted, unsure of its true purpose. Quaz, ever the optimist, grinned ear to ear as a crowd of humans gathered around him for a group selfie. "This is incredible. We've got Earth's approval, Commander." Drick, still trying to regain his composure, looked around in horror as humans shoved cameras in his face. "This is a mistake. I'm not meant for this kind of ridicule," he muttered. Zarna, trying to remain calm, took the selfie stick and snapped a picture of the crew. "Maybe we should just go along with it. It's not the worst thing to happen today." "We lost the dance battle, Zarna," Drick grumbled. "Let's just go back to the ship before they make us do karaoke." But before they could retreat, the crowd grew even more enthusiastic, chanting and waving their phones. One human shouted, "Hey, let's make these aliens famous." A viral trend was born before their eyes. People started flooding the stadium with hashtags like #AlienDanceFails and #IntergalacticGroove. Drick stared at the flood of social media posts appearing on the giant screens overhead. His mandibles twitched in horror as he saw video after video of their spectacularly awkward dance moves getting shared by millions. "They're turning us into memes," Drick hissed, his eyes wide. "I can't believe this is happening." The humans, blissfully unaware of the aliens' panic, continued to chant and cheer, their phones glowing with every new post. A human with bright pink hair waved a sign that read, "We love our new alien dance heroes." "Well, at least they're calling us heroes," Quaz said, grinning. Drick shot him a glare. "We lost. Terribly. This is not heroism. This is humiliation." Finally, with what could only be described as reluctant grace, the crew made their way back to the ship. The ramp hissed open, and they stepped aboard, feeling the eyes of millions still glued to them through Earth's social media. The humans' cheers faded into the background as they closed the door behind them. Quaz, still buzzing from the experience, plopped down at the navigation console. "Well, this was a fun detour. I'm just waiting for the next challenge." Zarna slid into her seat, shaking her head in amusement. "You do realize we're never going to live this down, right? We're meme legends now." Drick slumped into his chair, rubbing his temples. "I just want to forget this. It's bad enough that we've failed at diplomacy. Now we're a global joke." HUG buzzed to life from the corner of the room. "Congratulations, team. You're now trending as #AlienDanceFails. Your intergalactic grace is unmatched." Drick's head snapped toward the AI, his frustration reaching its peak. Never coming back to this planet again. The ship's engines hummed to life as it began its ascent from Earth's atmosphere, the planet's vibrant blue and green surface shrinking below. But as the crew looked back one last time, they could see it. The entire stadium had transformed into a glowing beacon of viral content. Humanity had officially turned them into internet sensations. As they drifted into deep space, a final notification pinged across the ship's dashboard. #AlienDanceFails now trending on Earth's top 10 memes. Drick stared at the screen for a moment before letting out an exasperated sigh. "If that's how they welcome us to the galaxy," he muttered, "I'm not sure I want to meet anyone else." And with that, the crew of the Vraxan Explorer zoomed off into the stars, hoping their next encounter wouldn't involve TikTok dances. With t-shirts in hand and memes in their hearts, the aliens left Earth, confused but oddly entertained. What will they report to the Galactic Council? Only time will tell. Maybe they'll have to consider humanity's unique way of diplomacy, or perhaps just stick to more traditional methods next time. Which Earth tradition should the aliens try next? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more intergalactic chaos.